You're watching TAG TV.
Good evening. Welcome to South Asia Newsline. I am Uzma Jafri. Here are the top stories we are tracking for you on Friday, the 12th of October. Indian Foreign Minister urges SCO nations to fight terrorism, promote connectivity. Pakistan's top court extends deadline to conclude corruption trial against Nawaz Sharif. And new political movement meets to map out ways to end war in Afghanistan. And now for all the details. Indian Foreign Minister Sushma Swaraj on Friday attended the ministerial meet of member nations of Shanghai Cooperation Organization or SCO in Tajikistan. In her address, she urged the SCO nations to cooperate with each other, saying terrorism remains the most overwhelming threat to development and prosperity.
Indian Foreign Minister Sushma Swaraj on Friday urged member nations of Shanghai Cooperation Organization or SCO to cooperate with each other, saying terrorism remains the most overwhelming threat to development and prosperity. She made the remarks while attending a two-day conclave of the SCO Council of Heads of Government in Tajikistan's capital, Dushanbe. She said SCO nations must further develop trade and investment cooperation, supporting an open, stable international trade regime based on centrality of the World Trade Organization.
India shares the desire of the SCO members for enhanced connectivity. We believe that all connectivity initiatives must be based on the principles of respect for sovereignty and territorial integrity, consultations, good governance, transparency, viability and sustainability.
Earlier on Thursday, Swaraj met Afghanistan's Chief Executive Abdullah on the sidelines of the two-day summit. During talks, she reiterated India's commitment to Afghan-led, Afghan-owned peace process in Afghanistan that can help the country emerge as a stable, inclusive and economically vibrant nation.
Cyclone Titli that slammed into India's eastern seaboard on Thursday killed at least 8 people. The cyclonic storm swirling over the Bay of Bengal intensified into the very severe category early on Thursday and made a landfall in Odisha and Andhra Pradesh provinces.
Cyclone Titli that slammed into India's eastern seaboard on Thursday left at least 8 people dead, destroying huts, uprooting trees, snapping telephone poles and power lines. Strong gusts caused the storm surge with waters inundating low-lying areas in Andhra Pradesh and Odisha provinces, and the winds wreaked havoc on infrastructure, blocking roads and hampering emergency work. Among those killed in the cyclonic storm, 5 people were from Srikakulam and 3 from Vijayanagaram districts of India's Andhra Pradesh province. Most of them were fishermen.
तितली का जो प्रभाव है यहाँ पे जो साइक्लोन हो रहा है उड़ीसा में, उसी का प्रभाव में यहाँ पे लेट हो रहा है. छोटा-छोटा जो डिजास्टर हो रहा है अभी स्टेशन के एरिया में, इसीलिए शायद ईस्ट कोस्ट रेलवे ने मना मतलब ट्रेन कैंसिल किया है, इसलिए हमारे को परेशानी हो रहा है.
The severe cyclonic storm swirling over the Bay of Bengal intensified into the very severe category early Thursday and made a landfall in eastern India. The Bay of Bengal often witnesses cyclones at this time of year, with some causing widespread death and destruction. Odisha was hit last month by a low-intensity storm.
In news from Pakistan, Pakistan's top court on Friday granted the final extension to the Accountability Court hearing 2 corruption references against former Premier Nawaz Sharif and his family. So far, 6 extensions have been granted by the Supreme Court to conclude trials in the corruption cases.
Pakistan's Supreme Court on Friday granted the final extension to the Accountability Court hearing to corruption references against former Premier Nawaz Sharif and his family. While setting November 17th as the deadline to wrap up the flagship investment and Al Azizia references, the court remarked that it will not grant further extension to conclude the trial. The trials in a total of 3 corruption references against the Sharif family had commenced in September 2017. Earlier, Sharif, his daughter Maryam Nawaz and his son-in-law Muhammad Safdar were released from jail last month after Islamabad High Court suspended their prison sentences over the purchase of upscale Avonfield apartments in London. Actions are still under appeal, but the High Court said they should be freed immediately while the case continues.
Moving on. A research analyst with the European Foundation for South Asian Studies has highlighted the factual and analytical errors in the recent UN report on Jammu and Kashmir. She said the report mentions UN-designated terror organizations as armed groups and leaders as many as 38 times.
Joanna Barakova, a research analyst with the Amsterdam-based European Foundation for South Asian Studies, or EFSAS, recently highlighted the factual and analytical errors in the recent UN report on Jammu and Kashmir. She expressed concerns that the report did not mention the cross-border terrorism perpetrated by Pakistan in Jammu and Kashmir. She blamed the conflict in Kashmir is Pakistan's proxy war, and this should have been identified as such, whereas the report recommendations avoid this subject.
I believe that this report had very serious methodological, analytical and historical shortcomings, since it did not mention even once the cross-border terrorism perpetrated by Pakistan in the state of Jammu and Kashmir. It did not mention the mainstreaming of terrorist groups, extremist groups in Pakistani politics. It's actually titled very incorrectly.
The report ironically referred to Pakistan-based terror groups Hizbul Mujahideen, Lashkar-e-Taiba and Jaish-e-Mohammed as armed groups which are designated as terrorist organizations by the United Nations. Activists have expressed concerns that the report also has no mention about terrorist camps running under the patronage of the state of Pakistan in Pakistan-administered Kashmir.
In news from Afghanistan, a new political movement to discuss ways to end the years-old war in Afghanistan was launched in capital Kabul on Thursday. The session on the first day of the movement was attended by members of some major political parties, movements and local Afghan people.
Members of some political parties, movements and local Afghan people came together in Kabul city on Thursday to announce the launch of a new political movement and discuss ways to end the war in their country. The new movement, called the Grand Assembly of National Unity, also includes major political parties and movements like National Islamic Front of Afghanistan and Afghan Millat Party. The first day of the movement included discussions on political issues on which delegates made suggestions to the government.
توافق طرفای درگیر بر حکومت موقت در این مرحله باید روی تأسیس یک حکومت موقت بحث هرچند ما اکنون در همین شرایط و قبل از آغاز مذاکرات بین دولت و مخالفین مسلح با مطالبه تشکیل حکومت موقت از سوی اپوزیسیون شامل حکومت
Delegates also stressed the need for unity and tolerance among Afghans, saying that it is the only way to lead the country towards stability. The session, which started on Thursday, will continue for another 2 days and the leadership of the new movement will be decided upon.
More on news from Afghanistan. Deputy Special Representative of the United Nations Assistance Mission in Afghanistan, Toby Lanza, has said the UN will use all its resources for creating a better future for Afghanistan. He said that with the international community's cooperation, there are hopes of peace in the country.
Deputy Special Representative of the United Nations Assistance Mission in Afghanistan, or UNEMA, Toby Lenzer, has said that UN will use all its resources for making a better future for Afghanistan. Stressing that there are hopes for achieving peace in Afghanistan, Lenzer said the international community's cooperation will further help the efforts of Afghan government for ensuring peace in the country. He further said that his job is to be realistic and help people in finding a better tomorrow for them.
از هر شهروند افغانستان که شنیدم، ولو که اگر دختر یا پسر، مرد و یا زن بوده است، همواره برایم گفتند که ما صلح می‌خواهیم.
امیدوار هستیم که از طریق همکاری ها و حمایت ایالات متحده آمریکا و سفر جناب خلیلزاد صاحب به ایالات پاکستان، دولت پاکستان آمادگی اعلان عملی همکاری با پروسه صلح افغانستان انجام بدن.
Earlier this week, U.S. Special Representative for Afghanistan Reconciliation, Zelmay Khalilzad, had visited Afghanistan capital Kabul, aiming to break the stalemate regarding the war and to bring peace to the war-torn country. He had also called for government and Taliban to form negotiating teams for peace talks.
A camp aimed at reviving the art of stone carving is underway in India's northern Jammu and Kashmir province. Sculptors from across the country are participating in the 2-week-long camp. The event in Srinagar city of the province will conclude on October 16.
In a bid to revive the centuries-old art of stone carving, also known as Sang Tarashi, authorities in India's northern Jammu and Kashmir province have organized a camp for 2 weeks. The event in Srinagar city of the province was organized by the Ministry of Culture. Apart from locals, the camp also saw participation of sculptors from other parts of the country who showcased their unique talent by giving different shapes to the stones.
आज यहाँ पे कैंप हो रहा है कश्मीर में, जिसमें कश्मीर के हमारे 2 आर्टिस्ट हैं और 3 आर्टिस्ट बाहर से हैं, चंडीगढ़ से हैं, हिमाचल से हैं. तो एक अच्छा माहौल है आर्ट एंड कल्चर को बढ़ावा देने के लिए.
आर्ट को जिंदा रखने के लिए ये बहुत ज़रूरी है, क्योंकि यहाँ का ट्रेडिशन जो स्टोन कार्विंग है ये बहुत फेमस है और इम्पॉर्टेंट है.
Kashmir Valley has a very old, rich cultural and traditional history, and stone carving is one of them. The camp, which will continue till October 16th, is also aimed at promoting the old art of stone carving among the youth in the valley, as it can be taken up as a source of income too.
A priest in India's eastern Bihar province has been observing Hindu festival Navratri by keeping 21 metal pots on his chest to show his devotion towards goddess Durga. He has been following this practice for the last 22 years without eating or drinking anything during the 9-day-long festival.
A priest in Patna city of India's eastern Bihar province has been showing his devotion towards Hindu goddess Durga by keeping 21 kalash or metal pots on his chest during the festival of Navratri. The priest Nageshwar Baba has been following this practice without eating or drinking anything during the 9-day-long Navratri festival for the last 22 years. Many devotees have been visiting a temple in Patna to seek blessings of goddess Durga and become a witness to the elderly priest's devotion towards the goddess.
पिछले 22 साल से मैं अपना छाती पर कलशा रख रहा हूँ. ये प्रेरणा माँ के चरणों से मिली है.
ये देवी माँ का कृपा है. भक्ति में ही शक्ति है. आपको मालूम होना चाहिए कि पूर्व काल में भी भगवान अपने भक्तों के यहाँ चलकर आते थे. आज भी माँ भगवती इनमें सवार है.
Navratri is celebrated in honor of the 9 manifestations of Hindu goddess Durga. The goddess of power, Durga is depicted as riding a raging lion, holding weapons in her 10 hands. During Navratri, many people observe fasting and some restrict their diet to fruits and vegetables, spurning meat, onions and garlic.
Well, that's all we have for you from South Asia this evening. Now our viewers can watch the show on southasianewsline.com. You can also visit us on facebook.com/SAsiaNewsline and follow us on Twitter @SAsiaNewsline. That's all in tonight's edition. We will see you same time next week. Have a great weekend. Good night.